I set 4 doing goals for 2025 and achieved 3, but at a cost that I hadn't anticipated. I didn't protect my time and often pushed creative work and activities that I enjoy to the margins. In this video, I'll share what worked, what didn't, and the specific changes that I'm making in 2026, especially around protecting my time, setting boundaries, and making consistent progress on my creative endeavors. If you're setting goals for 2026, you'll probably find a few ideas worth borrowing. Hi, I'm Miles Holloman, and this is The Productive Retirement. On this channel, I share my thoughts about and experiences of retirement so that we can all have a happier, more fulfilling retirement. Doing goals are measurable, action-oriented, typically short-term goals that support our more fundamental being goals, those that are closely associated with our identity. For 2025, my first goal was to walk 1,500 miles, and I completed that goal on December 15th. My second goal was to visit each of my children and grandchildren twice in 2025. I completed this goal over the course of 2 trips to Austin, 2 trips to Southern California, a trip to Pocatello, and a trip to Sandpoint, Idaho. My third goal was to improve my videography skills. I made progress in this area. I've improved my editing skills, and I'm a bit more comfortable in front of the camera, but I'm still not where I want to be, so I'm not counting this one as achieved. And finally, my fourth goal was to plan and implement one major trip, and this was achieved in the early summer when Nicole and I traveled to Iceland, Scotland, and Ireland. So what did I learn from my experience? First, while I pursued my walking goal with focus and determination, I didn't manage the costs and missed out on other opportunities. Walking consumed 12 to 15 hours a week, which is admittedly a slow pace, but the vast majority of those miles were logged with my dog, and she insists on sniffing and exploring along the way. I also assumed a volunteer position in the middle of 2025, and that unexpectedly consumed over 70 hours a month in the fall. These activities combined left little time for the creative and joyful activities that I also value. A productive requirement isn't just about checking the boxes. It's also about joy and happiness and fulfillment. When it comes to visiting the kids, of course, just physically being near them is an experience, a sensation that I can't replicate via phone or text. But I also learned that despite everyone's busy schedules, twice a year is very doable, as long as we're all flexible and keep our expectations reasonable. Reflecting on my videography goal, I realized that in addition to the time challenges that I've already described, I lacked structure and quantitative goals. As a result, I gave over to my tendency to overwork minor details and didn't publish consistently. Relative to my vacation goal, certainly planning is a key element of success in any trip, but last year reinforced the need to also leave room for serendipity, like taking a silly Viking tour in Dublin or dropping into a crowded bar in Reykjavik to listen to a local cover band. For 2026, I'm implementing a number of structural changes that I think will help. First, I'm adopting discrete, time-bound goals with quantitative metrics. Second, I'm also taking a number of steps to better manage my time. For example, I'm developing a number of tools to limit the time required by my volunteer commitment. This year, I expect to spend no more than 20 hours a month on those activities. Second, I'm recognizing that my bucket is full, so I'm not taking on any new commitments this year unless something is taken off the table. Finally, this year, I'm scheduling more thorough quarterly reviews where I'll be looking much more closely at how I'm spending or wasting my time. This year, I have 2 health-related doing goals. First, I'm retaining a walking goal. but I'm trading increased effort for a reduced time commitment by rucking with a 20-pound pack. Specifically, I plan to ruck 500 miles and walk without weights for another 500 miles. This reduction in overall mileage and time should free up a couple of hundred hours that I can devote to other activities. Second, I plan to lose some weight, specifically around 10 pounds, because I'm carrying around a bit more visceral fat than is healthy. The first quarter of the year, I'm busy with travel and a few other activities, so I'll be focusing on this goal beginning in the second quarter. My third doing goal for 2026 is to put my physical environment in order. Specifically, my office and my portion of the basement, they're a mess. It looks like a bomb has gone off down here. I'll be clear, I've lugged stuff and boxes around for probably more than 20 years, and I think that the disorder is actually beginning to weigh me down. But I'm not planning on some minimalist exercise. Instead, I will be better organizing and streamlining my creative and physical environments for 2026. In terms of my creative doing goals for 2026, I have three. But as opposed to last year, this year I'm establishing quantitative targets. First, I'm reigniting my focus on YouTube videos and am planning on pushing out 3 to 4 videos each quarter. Second, beginning in the second half of the year, I'll begin a project that I've been thinking about for a long time, documenting my family's history for the kids. I plan on completing at least 2 of these videos by year end. And finally, I need to finish at least one family vacation video this year. My final doing goal for 2026 is to seek out and enjoy more live music. Late last year, I went to a Frights concert in Seattle and re-experienced the pleasure of a good concert with an energetic, excited crowd. And I realized how much I missed that. So this year, I'm planning on attending at least 8 concerts that I'm really excited about. You might be curious, what about visiting the kids and the grandkids and the big vacation, all of which were subject to doing goals last year? Those efforts succeeded in establishing patterns and expectations, such as visiting my kids for their birthday in the late winter, early spring, and then again in the fall, and visiting my stepdaughter and the grandchildren near their birthdays in January and February, and then again in summer when the weather's more agreeable. These visits have transitioned from activities that require the focus and effort of a dedicated formal goal to, I believe, sustainable habits. In terms of vacation, this too, I believe, has become more of a habit. And while my wife and I are still in the planning phase for this year, trying to determine whether to take one big vacation or a number of small regional vacations, there will still be travel this year. 2025 was a good year, and I'm celebrating my accomplishments. For 2026, I'm changing my approach, not just focusing on checking boxes, but also protecting time for what matters most to me. Retirement has made 2 things painfully clear. My time is limited, and everything takes longer than I think it will. If I don't set clear goals and boundaries, the year may just slip past, and I can't get that time back. Until next time, take care. I'll share quarterly updates as the year unfolds. And thank you for joining me in this productive retirement.